Welcome to the St Andrews International School Virtual Open Day. My name's Andrew Wheeler and I'm one of the deputy heads here at High School with a responsibility for student welfare and progress. I would like to welcome some of our current families to this Virtual Open Day and also any prospective families that are thinking about joining our community. I use the word community because that's exactly what we are here at St Andrews, with students, teachers and parents all working together. During this Virtual Open Day, we'd like to share information about our school's mission and purpose, as well as seeing a number of things from various members of staff and students, and also the chance to view some fantastic facilities that we have here at High School. At the end of the Open Day, there's a chance to enter a Q&A session with various members of the senior leadership team. I would like to introduce our school principal, Mr. Paul Schofield, to welcome you to our high school.
My name is Paul Schofield. I'm the head of school. And really, it's my job to welcome you and to really tell you a little bit about the school. I've been here for 20 years, and we've had a mission statement throughout that time that is very important to us. Our mission statement is that we provide an inclusive international education in a safe, happy, stimulating environment where all the needs of the individual learner are met. And really from that, the school has been created. When I was first here, we started with about 110 children, and now we're 2,000 strong with a very, very rich community. And that richness comes from the fact that I think that when the school was very small, what I wanted most was happy children. And from happy children, I needed happy staff. And if I had happy children and happy staff, I ended up with happy parents. Because actually what you want as a parent is your child to want to come to school, whatever their age. Yes, you want them to be academically challenged. Yes, you want them to have a massive amount of options in terms of ECAs and sport and art. And we have all of those at St Andrews. But more than that, you want your child to be supported and have the things in place that if they have any problems, any challenges, the school can work with you to ensure that your child deals with those and we move forward positively so they can reach their full potential. And I think that is a part and parcel of the caring community that we've created with all the different professionals we now have. But actually being the size we are and having the strength of the teams and the teachers and the admin and the support staff, we can actually offer so much now to ensure that your child really does make the progress that's necessary for them to reach their full potential as they go from nursery, hopefully through to year 13 and can graduate and go off to some fantastic universities around the world. So happiness, and therefore now the buzzword of well-being, is a central theme, has always been a central theme to our school, because I know that from my own experience, if I'm happy, I will work hard. Expectations can be high. And that's why the school really values that idea. We want happy children who can then be expected to work hard. And that's what you need as a parent. So when your child comes home to you or when you come into school to share things with them, they're excited about what they're doing. They'll really want to let you know how much they're enjoying what they're doing and how much they're learning. We are open access. That means in our admissions department, we don't select. Yes, we have some tests. We want to know the needs of the child. We want to know where they are. But we do not just say, right, we're taking the best. We won't take this child because, to be honest, they're not good enough for us. We are an open access community where we include everybody. And what we want to do is support everybody. And what that does is it gives us a richness that allows young people to understand others, because they will meet a whole mixture of different children with different challenges. And often, you know from your own children that there will be times when they feel inconfident, they feel insecure, they doubt themselves. And often being able to have friends and work along others that they see are far more challenged in terms of the way they learn and the way they do things, it means that they will be inspired to think, actually, I can do this. Actually, this is going to be, I can make this work. And so working with all the support teams and the tutors and the class specialists and the therapists that we have and the learning support staff, we can build that community for your child to really flower and actually really enjoy themselves at school. As I've said already, the happiness and well-being of the young people within our school, whether they're 3 to 5 or 17 to 18, is the most important thing. And today really is about showing you how much our whole school community cares for the children within our care and wants them to really be able to develop that resilience that is going to see them through to a very successful path in life and to be able to deal with all the challenges they face. Our school, as I said earlier, has always had happiness as a core element that we want. And I think when you start listening to the different people who are going to talk about the school, you will see that we remain focused on that, because we know, as I said earlier, if we can have happy children with working with happy staff, we'll end up with you as happy parents, because you'll know your children are going to reach their full potential.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. As our mission statement shows, here at St Andrews, we regard the community and well-being is very highly, ensuring every person is included, is happy, and is the best that they can be. This is something which I believe makes us different from other international schools here in Bangkok. Here at St Andrews, we provide a fully inclusive environment, which is another factor that separates us from other international schools in Bangkok. Our dedication to inclusive education is reflected in our non-selective admissions process. We recognise that many factors may influence the rate at which a child develops academically and socially. Therefore, we strive to an extensive support network to nurture all our students' development. In high school, we have important special educational needs and embracing differences programs working closely with students and their families. In these departments, we use a transdisciplinary approach, collaborating closely with child-centered practice. Our speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, art therapists, play therapists and physiotherapists work with the educational team to highlight how they can develop the pupils' skills across various learning opportunities. We do not use a shadow model, as we want students to feel part of the main class and the community. Where there are opportunities for SEN and ED students to access the mainstream classes, we facilitate participation and engagement. The programme builds confidence, relationships, resilience and progressive thinking. We also ensure that mainstream students are fully interactive with students in the SEN and ED programmes, both in their classroom lessons and also wellbeing sessions. Let's take a quick look. Wellbeing is hugely important, and this feeling is growing around the world all the time. Student wellbeing is defined as a sustainable state of positive mood and attitude, resilience and satisfaction with self, relationships and experiences at school. The foundations of wellbeing are at the heart of everything that we do at St Andrews. We place a high importance on a student's physical and mental health. As previously stated, we believe in providing a safe, happy and stimulating environment, meeting all the needs of the individual learner. This is balanced alongside academic results, allowing the students to be the best that they can be in all senses of their lives. The What Makes a Great St Andrews community document was created just over 5 years ago. This was created by students, for teachers, and for parents, everybody within the community. It allows them to guide them to how our mission statement wants us to be and to make us be better local and global citizens. The larger year groups have 2 heads of year. That means that they have less students under their care. It means they can really get to know the students and the parents and understand their needs and take the care of them just as is expected. They also have a form tutor that they see every single morning and can listen to any of their needs or concerns on a daily basis. These are then supported by our pastoral counselling team, who are well trained and experienced in a range of different student needs. We have 4 full-time counsellors here at high school, and they not only support the students, but they also have input into the wellbeing lessons and also run parent workshops. Every single morning, every student has a 15-minute tutor time. They also have period 3 on a Friday wellbeing lesson. In these lessons with their form tutors, they'll discuss things such as health, wellbeing, relationships, diversity and mindfulness, as well as actively learning new skills and preparing the students for higher education and the real world. Having such a large pastoral team means that every student can feel that they have someone that listens to them and also is there to take care for their needs. But that's easy for me to say. Let's hear it from a student's perspective and also from our head counsellor, Miss Amy Bonehill.
I think the most important highlight here at St. Andrews is definitely the fact that they have opportunities for everyone and not just the academically inclined people or athletically inclined. I myself am quite a technical person who likes science and business, but my sister, she's more of a athletic and art student. But it wouldn't matter here at St. Andrews because they have classes or ECAs available for everyone with every interest. St. Andrews has really helped me push myself to improve academically and become a better leader and find potential in myself that I've never knew I had before. I would never had the courage or opportunity to join Motto United Nations or the student leadership team, but there were teachers behind me who kept pushing me and say, you should join this, you should join that. And now I'm the Secretary General of Motto United Nations as well as the Vice President of the Student Leadership Team. If someone is considering coming to St. Andrews, whatever passion they have with them, they should try to pursue it here because there will always be someone who will be there behind your back to help support you, whether it's a teacher or peers, and they will make whatever your passion is possible. And I think that that is what St. Andrews is all about.
Such a great video to watch, and it was lovely to hear Anita's reflections on the support she received through her educational journey here at St. Andrews. My name is Amy and I am in charge of counselling and wellbeing across SDA. I have been a member of the community for 8 years now, and one thing I'm incredibly proud of is our priority of taking care, holistic care of our students and families. Everything we do, I feel very passionately, is centred on the tailored caring approach. There's no getting away from the fact that the last 18 months have been incredibly challenging, incredibly different for education. But our students have been amazing. They have learnt skills that we hope will future-proof them. They've been able to use technology for group work. They've been self-disciplined in the fact they've managed massive parts of their time with self-directed learning. They've become really great at creating healthy routines, getting themselves their breakfast in the morning, setting up their study space, self-management around their homework and classwork, which is quite tricky when you're in the same environment all day long. I've been incredibly proud of them. They've shown amazing resilience, and although there have been challenges along the way, I feel like we have tailored our approach to meet the needs of our students. And we will continue to do that, whatever is thrown in our way in the coming months and years. During the last 18 months, it's been incredibly important that we not only focus on our students' well-being, which is our priority, it's also trying to be holistic and make sure that our families have a place to come and vent, discuss, to ask the questions that need answering. I'm incredibly passionate about we need to have that open door approach. We need our families to be able to email us, give us a call, or if appropriate, come to school and speak to one of us. I feel like that approach can make us feel incredibly connected in what has been a time of disconnect. And that is our priority here at St. Andrews. Although we are a large school, it doesn't mean we are not all connected. There are many people who are open. There is the counselling department, which I am part of, but we have the heads of year, we have the teachers, the tutors, the LSAs. There is always somebody there that will help support our students and our families stay connected, stay on track, and overcome the challenges that will always come with school life. So we are so excited to feel like we're moving into a different phase here at St Andrews. We are back on site, we are collaborating and really trying to tap into things that we've learned along the way. Moving forward, we're going to be having some workshops aimed at our parent community around communication, because we feel that it's been quite intense at home. There's a lot of people in the house together doing roles and jobs that maybe they wouldn't or shouldn't be doing. And sometimes that's caused some conflict or, a little bit out of sync. So we think resetting with some communication workshops will really help parents refresh their connections and their skills at home. We also are super aware that our students have had to be really reliant on technology. And as they are young people, they need continual guidance and help and support around how they use that technology. It is a fantastic tool. And actually social media can be wonderful. I have seen some fantastic stories of students thriving in communities online. However, like anything, it's about balance and it's about appropriate use. So another part of our work going forward will be making sure that we engage with students and our parent community around appropriate use of social media, appropriate use of technology, and how we can really keep things in balance. That's our philosophy, always everything in balance. So there's exciting things going on in terms of workshops and training. We will continue to keep checking in with our students. Even though we're back on campus, we cannot get away from the fact they've had a turbulent on-off situation. So it's really important that we keep checking in with them. We keep reminding them that we do understand that even though at the beginning it could be a really exciting period of being back on campus, but maybe there's going to be a low that we'll hit, and we're there to catch them and set them back on their way. Obviously, with having maybe some days where they've not been so fantastic on VSE, we understand that there might be also gaps, things that they've missed. And the last thing we want is for people to be worried about that, for students to be concerned. So having really honest conversations of where they feel they're at with their studies, so we can make sure again that there's plans and approaches in place to overcome those things. So there is such a vibe of excitement and a really feeling of we are in the next phase and we are moving forward.
During the last 2 years, unfortunately, we've all had to face some very difficult times during the COVID pandemic. Here at St Andrews, we've been able to develop the skills and resilience to overcome these challenges and even build on them to make us better at what we do and who we are. The students' physical and mental well-being is a major focus for us during the VSE, and we constantly looked at ways we could support this. This is through things such as active well-being lessons, extra PE sessions, advice on how they can organise themselves and manage their time. This includes eating sensibly, taking breaks and moving around between lessons, and staying on touch with their friends. Here is a summary of some of the things that we have done during the virtual school experience to maximise student learning and well-being in a tough situation. The students have been able to develop new skills in their learning, and teachers have learned new teaching techniques predominantly through the introduction of improved technologies along the way. Let's hear from our Head of Learning Technologies, Mr. Keith Wilson.
Hi, my name's Keith. I'm a physics teacher here at the high school, and I also oversee the use of technology across the school. And of course, with the coming of the pandemic, there was an expanded role for technology, both in delivering learning, but also in supporting student well-being. And as we made the transition into our online learning, into our VSE, the student well-being was very much at the center of the decisions we were taking. So for example, we made a very early decision to stick with the on-campus timetable. That gave students the stability, the reassurance, and the consistency that they needed at those sort of anxious times. And we were able to accomplish that through Moodle, which is our online system. It's a very flexible platform, and we were able to adapt it so that students had a really easy way of connecting with their lessons. So there was basically just one button, every lesson, you just clicked, and immediately they were taken into the correct lesson, the correct subject with the correct teacher, and meeting their friends there. And so we did it in a way to make the technology as transparent as possible so that teachers could focus on the learning and students could meet with their friends in as normal a possible atmosphere as we could create. And of course, the tutor time was central to that. Our pastoral system means that your child will be part of a tutor group, and every morning the students would meet with their tutor and with their group just for a check-in. How are you doing? Are you eating okay? Are you exercising still? And through technology, we were also able to support other aspects of learning, such as group work, which kept the social engagement, the social side of school being so important, as we've all learned through the pandemic. And it enabled extracurricular activities to continue, keeping students active and engaged with things outside of the normal curriculum. The social aspects of school, again, being central there. We were able to continue our counselling team, who were offering one-to-one sessions with students who were struggling at times. And that was all enabled through our technology platforms here at St Andrews. A recent example is that the students themselves came up with the idea of what they've called the voice box, which is an anonymous but moderated platform where they can engage with each other and discuss issues that are affecting their own well-being. And that's had a great impact. It's already led us as a community and as a school reevaluate homework, for example, and the stresses that has been putting on some of our students. And I think that process of reflection and developing our VSE really led to its success. And now that we're transitioning to on-campus learning, we're taking a lot of those lessons with us. So, for example, the appropriate use of technology. During the lockdown period, of course, we were all spending more time than is probably healthy on screens and so on. So we've revisited that, and I think we do, we have a very thought through and considered approach to the use of technology in lessons and around the school. And also through Moodle, the flexibility of having something called the Health app, which is keeping us safe on campus by ensuring that everybody is COVID negative. So it's through this process of feedback from our community that we are going to continue to develop our technology and our systems with student well-being at the centre.
It's been great to finally see the students back at school after a very difficult time learning at home. It's been very tough for them to get through this current situation. It'd be great to find out what they think about St Andrews as a school itself, and also their thoughts on the virtual school experience.
I believe that what makes St Andrews different from all the other schools is the diverse community of students that we have, as well as the excellently trained staff who always have answers for me, and who I'm always willing to share personal problems and go to in times of need, education or otherwise.
So the new skills I learned were adapting to the online resources, so using things such as Google Meet and Google Classroom kind of facilitated us and made us learn online, which was very effective, I felt, because only talking and having discussions in class weren't as effective as note-taking and activities on Moodle, Google Classroom, and etc.
The school is really, really inclusive. Everyone has a shot, and they do a really good job of making sure that everyone is positive and that we all get a shot at everything. And I think that's really nice, and you can see a lot of people advance and grow from so many things and opportunities, which is really nice to see, and it makes you feel a part of a community.
I think the best part of being a member of SDA is that it really allows you to do whatever you want. You can do drama, you can be involved in music, you can be involved in sports, you can be involved in academics, debate, MUN, whatever it is you want to do, you can do. And there's no limitations, like if you have, like just because you're an athlete doesn't mean you cannot also be a public speaker. You can do everything.
My advice would be to organize all your tasks first before you start doing them, so you know what to do, and also you have to manage all your time and try your best to concentrate.
The community, I really like it because there's a lot of different activities, and everyone, all the teachers make sure that you're included in everything, which I think is great, and I love that.
I feel that SCA has a very tight community and it feels very much like a family, and I feel very, very comfortable when I'm in the campus, and yeah, that's what I like.
The best thing about being a member of St. Andrews is probably our well-knit community. Like now I'm back at school and I can talk to my friends, and I just feel the warmness and closeness from them and the teachers.
We recognise that the learning has had its difficulties, but due to the hard work and determination that everyone has put in, the impacts were minimised. And that means we are fully prepared if a scenario like this comes ahead in the future. In Key Stage 3, we run a very flexible curriculum, allowing for teachers to have freedom to adapt their programme of study. We offer a wide range of subjects, which gives the appropriate pathway for students at IGCSE. Teachers aim to engage and inspire all students, allowing them to develop their critical thinking skills as well as their growth mindset. As an international school, we offer the core subjects of maths, English and science, as well as humanities subjects and an extensive range of first and second languages. Students also have 2 lessons of physical exercise per week, which has a mixture of swimming and various sports and other activities. In connection with our teaching subjects, we also offer an extensive range of extracurricular activities. With over 250 different clubs on the menu, this includes things such as academics, arts, sports, and also service projects. We're also extremely lucky to be in collaboration with Juilliard and MIT through Nord Anglia Education, which sets us apart from most other international schools in Bangkok. These collaborations include visits from experts in their field, workshops put in place, and also trips to the United States for certain students. The students can access the Juilliard curriculum through their drama, music and dance lessons, and MIT through their STEAM lessons. The STEAM curriculum is the coming together of science, technology, English, arts and maths. Our Key Stage 3 students in particular find this engaging, exciting and also educational. But let's find out a little bit more about our STEAM curriculum.
Here at St. Andrews, we're trying to prepare students for a future which is kind of uncertain. The careers and the jobs and the things that our students will be doing throughout their lives are going to be changing. We need to give them the skills so that they can learn independently, upskill when they need to, and give them the rigour that when things get tough, they don't give up. These are the skills which you don't traditionally get unless you really design a curriculum which gets our students to practice these things. In order to do this, we've bridged together the science and maths department with our technology department for a few units. One of them this year is architecture. The students are using their lessons in maths to look at floor planning, areas, volumes, heights, elevation. In science, they're looking at things like conduction, convection, radiation and thermal physics, which then they're using to apply to their design in their architecture. Year 7, they're studying race cars. They're creating the shell for their car in CAD software, and then because they're building drag race cars, students need to look at aerodynamics, and they're going to be measuring the velocity time graph and acceleration time graph for their car. They're learning that they have to actually do things without being told. There's no teacher saying, okay, today you're going to do this. They have to go and do the research themselves. They have to go and try it. Build this one, see, does it work? No, it doesn't. Okay, so why not? They're able to think outside the box and they're able to solve things on their own. So in the future, when new jobs are invented, new career paths open up, our students will be able to go, okay, right, I'm keen on learning about that. I have the skill set to actually go and learn myself and upskill myself and get myself to that position. So whatever career you go into. The abilities of problem solving and understanding technology, working in teams is going to be vital. These skills aren't just for people who want to be engineers or who want to be physicists. These skills are so general and so broad that they're vital to everyone's future.
For Key Stage 4, we continue the freedom and flexibility in an aim to meet the needs of every individual learner. This includes the introduction of our BTEC and vocational courses alongside the IGCSEs. This helps forge the right pathway for every student for their future. Here is Mr. Ruth Stedding, our head of high school, to tell you a little bit more.
My name is Ruth Stedding. I'm the head of high school here at St Andrews. I joined St Andrews in August 2010. When I first came, I was the deputy head in charge of the curriculum. Then I became the head of high school. And obviously a few years later, we moved to our new high school. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how our IGCSE options work at St Andrews. The IGCSE is basically what most of our students study between the ages of 14 and 16. It's really a kind of a bridging point between Key Stage 3, when all of the students study all of the subjects, and the more specialised education that students have in the IB Diploma programme later on. So we really think that the way we do IGCSEs at St Andrews is a fantastic reflection of our mission statement. And the first is that we talk about meeting all the needs of the individual learner. So we have a huge amount of choice, more than 30 different subjects available, whether they're GCSEs or IGCSEs or BTECs, and we give students a huge amount of choice of those subjects. And the other part of the mission statement that's particularly important is that we say that we want students to be inspired to be the best they can be. So being able to make choices from this huge list of subjects and be taught by specialist teachers in the subjects they really want to study, that's really going to set them up for their IB and their future studies and for their life. Two ways in which I think that with the way we do IGCSEs is different. The first is the range of subjects. Over 30 different subjects, whether GCSEs or IGCSEs or BTECs, which is thousands of possible combinations. Because we don't have a set of blocks that we use every year. We start every year by talking to our students to see which subjects they would like to study and which combinations of subjects they would like to study. And then each year we build the blocks around those choices. So if a subject is more popular, we'll put on more classes. And if certain students want to study certain combinations, we'll do everything we can to make that combination possible. So with so many different subjects available, students can really specialise the sciences. Some students will choose to do one science, for example, biology. Some students might choose two, maybe biology and chemistry or chemistry and physics. And every year there are some students who choose all three, physics, chemistry and biology. Similar to the sciences, we have technology subjects. So we have design technology, resistant materials, we have computer science, and we have systems of control, which is somewhere in between those other two subjects. If we think about the languages, there's 10 different language choices available. In the humanities, we have the traditional geography and history, but then students could also choose business or enterprise or economics. And this year we have a new BTEC in travel and tourism. And in the arts, as well as art, we offer photography, we offer graphic communication. There's a BTEC in art and design, and students can do any of those in combinations with drama or music, and also dance, which I don't think any other schools do in Bangkok. So huge amount of subjects for the students to choose from, really specialising, and like obviously each of these is taught by specialist teachers, again, to inspire those students. So over 30 different subjects, thousands of combinations, and we want every student to be able to choose the right set of subjects for them so that we can meet all their individual needs and they can be the best they can be.
Graduation is a very proud moment where we can see the development and growth of our students. Often we see students who have been here for a very long time, some for the whole 16 years from FS1 all the way up to year 13. We look at the best programme for every individual student, allowing them to make progress for their next step in education, their career or their life journey. Let's hear from Mr. Will Taylor, one of our deputy heads at high school and also the IB coordinator, with more detail.
Good afternoon, I'm Will Taylor and I'm the IB Diploma coordinator here at St Andrews. The IB Diploma is the qualification that our students take straight after their IGCSEs in the final 2 years before graduation. Just like the programmes that the students have done previously in school, the IB Diploma is broad and balanced, but it also allows the students an opportunity to focus in more depth on a few subjects that they study at a higher level to provide them the depth of understanding that they need to follow those subjects or a related course at university. This more autonomous approach to learning over the 2 years of the programme helps to develop in students the confidence and the skills that they'll take on to university. This could mean that if you walked into a typical classroom, you're more likely to see a student leading a discussion than a teacher. You'll see lots of group interaction, and you'll hear thought-provoking questions from every corner of the room. The students' 6 subjects are chosen from up to 6 subject groups. With 35 subjects to choose from in total, this results in a huge range of possibilities. So each student can find the right programme for their own unique interests, abilities and aspirations. The 6 subject groups are studies in language and literature, language acquisition, individuals and societies, sciences, mathematics, and the arts. Students usually choose one subject from each group, but bilingual students could also choose 2 subjects from group 1, and students who want a slightly more focused diploma might choose to take 2 sciences or 2 subjects from individuals and societies instead of choosing an arts option. In addition to this, students also complete 3 core components as a part of their diploma: a theory of knowledge course, an extended essay in a subject of significant interest for the student, and CAS, a programme of creative, active and service-orientated experiences. Throughout their time at St Andrews, our students are encouraged to follow the subjects that they're most passionate about, because we know that results in the most successful outcomes and the happiest students. Because we offer so many IB options, we have budding artists, aspiring politicians and future engineers all studying together for the diploma. The variety of diploma options that we offer at St Andrews is really what makes our diploma stand out. And it's the diversity of students that this allows that really makes St Andrews so special. The IB Diploma is one of the most highly respected qualifications for 16 to 18-year-olds in any part of the world. And IB Diploma graduates are highly sought after by the top universities, many of which have done their own research showing that students who've studied the IB Diploma at school are more successful at university than those who've studied other qualifications that might be popular for some other schools. We support our students all the way through their learning journey at St Andrews. This takes the form of advice on subject choices between Key Stage 3 and IGCSE, and then between IGCSE and the IB Diploma. And it culminates in much more focused support from our university guidance team in the final 2 years of school before the students graduate and move on to university. The International Baccalaureate Diploma was an easy choice for St Andrews when we were deciding what our pre-university qualification should be. It offers such a diversity in the programme students can follow that really allows every student the chance to find something that's exactly right for them as an individual.
I wasn't sure where I wanted to go after school, so I felt like IB was a better choice and course to do because it was more broad.
I am someone who likes studying a lot of things. I don't like studying one particular subject. IB offers you to do extended essays, IAs, TOK, which is a completely new subject for me. So these things I thought would be very beneficial when I go to university.
I do believe that when it comes to school, it's not just about academics and studying and making sure you get all those grades, but it's also about caring for yourself and your community. So I really enjoyed the idea that IB offers that.
Learning an IB subject is a student-led process that's about much more than just acquiring knowledge. Students explore each subject using communication, collaboration, research and thinking skills, with the support of their teachers to direct and guide the way.
To be a good learner, you should have the ability to question everything you study. Knowing how you learn something can help you change the way you learn something.
It's a very diverse course because you have to take language, arts, science, and maths. And with that, even if the career path you choose will use only one of those areas, you still have knowledge of the other areas as well.
It gives you the option to choose subjects and subject choices and topics that you are more passionate about. Sometimes it doesn't feel like work because you're just enjoying it and it's almost like a hobby.
Structured in a way where it makes students independent. You set goals with your coordinator for yourself. When you meet them, you target your goals even higher. And throughout the year, you get a feeling of achievement and success.
We encourage students to be the best they can be, and we know that for some students, that means getting the top grades, and for other students, It might just mean passing in a qualification, or even just attending well and doing their best.
Something that I really enjoy is getting feedback from teachers. It's good to know where you're going wrong, where you're going right, and just for reassurance and knowing that you're on the right track.
If I keep thinking about work, I lose the opportunity to creatively think. So I'd make sure that I try to get rid of as much work as I can right at the start and leave a couple hours in a day just to relax and think about things I enjoy.
They don't just focus on our academics, but when they see some of us stressed, they'll ask, hey, are you okay? The fact that someone just is concerned for you is already like, wow, I think I can do this. It's motivation.
All of our students benefit from the supportive environment we offer at St Andrews, and the IB Diploma complements this perfectly by providing our graduates with an internationally recognised qualification that's highly regarded by universities.
It will probably be the hardest thing that you've done up to now, but I believe that by the end of it you'll learn so much from it and be more sure about what you want to do in life.
The whole school is behind me, and with that motivation and determination, I can really just get out there and do what I can, do my best and give 100%.
Senior students are greatly supported by their 2 university and college counsellors. They do this by having whole year group sessions, also running various workshops, sending them lots of information literature from many universities all around the globe, and also running one-to-one sessions with each individual student. They'll make sure that the parents are fully involved in the process along the way. The students are always already supported by their head of year and also their form tutor, looking at their well-being, moving into life after St Andrews, and also independent living in the real world. In 2021, we celebrated our best IB results ever, with a student pass rate and average diploma score above the world average, 19 students achieving 40 points or above, which accounted for 20% of our diploma passes. And we also had our first ever 45-point student in Bjorn. The class of 2021 have been accepted at many prestigious universities around the globe, with lots of them being in the top 50 universities in the world, including Imperial College London, University College London, the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Sydney University, and the University of British Columbia. We're very proud of all our graduates for working so hard and becoming the best that they can be. Thank you and welcome to the Q&A section of the St Andrews Virtual Open Day. It's my pleasure to be joined by Mr. Rue, Head of High School, Miss Jen, our Senior Deputy Head, Miss Amy, our Head Counsellor, and Mr. Will, one of our Deputy Heads and IB Coordinator. Thank you for those people who have sent questions in beforehand. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, the live chat function isn't working at the moment. However, if you've got some questions you'd like to ask now, you can send them to support@standrews.ac.th. If you send them in, we'll try and get to them during this session as well. Okay, we're going to go through some questions for each individual. The first one, Mr. Rue, this one's for you. Do kids tend to have friends only from their home countries, or do they bond as friends?
Okay, so thank you for the question. I would say one of the things I love about St Andrews, and we all love about St Andrews, is the mix of nationalities. So some international schools in Bangkok are very, very Thai, and some international schools in Bangkok have got very, very few Thais. What I love about St Andrews is about half our students are Thai, and about half our students are 50 other nationalities. So that the Thai students are surrounded by students from all over the world, and the students from all over the world are surrounded by enough Thai students to really understand Thai culture. We're looking forward to Loi Krathong next week. And that means that, yes, students have friends in all sorts of different nationalities in all of their classes.
Thank you, Mr. Rue. Miss Jen, one for teaching and learning here. Do you support children if they need help, and also do you challenge them if they are strong at a subject?
Thank you. Yes, we have a very large SEN department who help any students who have learning support needs. We continually assess their progress and any needs that they have in lessons, and we're able to ensure that they are observed in their learning environment, and our learning support assistants will support any students that need additional help. For students who need to be pushed to maybe a little bit further, our teachers are all planning lessons where they can differentiate the tasks for every student in their class, and we ensure that not just to push students to the next level, but to also ensure that they are pushed to think about the subject they're learning in a more broad and wider context and really delve deep into the learning that that's taking place.
Thank you, Ms. Jen. Mr. Will, one about universities here. How does St Andrews help students with the application process for universities, and when does this start?
Well, that's a very important question. Really support for students in terms of their applications and their pathway to university would start as early as year 9 and then throughout years 9, 10 and 11. At that stage mainly focused on ensuring that students are choosing the right subjects at the different points during high school when they get to make decisions about which classes they'll join for the following year. Those decisions are important not only because we want students to be prepared in particular subject areas to continue study in that area, but also because for applications to particular countries around the world, universities will require other combinations of subjects on a transcript to ensure that they're meeting the minimum requirements for that university. So that's really where our 2 full-time careers and university counsellors and the expertise that they have about the differences between university requirements around the world is really important, and they will work with students advising them as early, as I said, as year 9 and year 11. Most of the work that students do on applications actually takes place while they're in year 12 and year 13. And in those year groups, our students working with the careers and university counsellors, as well as their form tutors and their heads of year, spend a lot of time narrowing their focus to work out exactly which countries, which disciplines, which courses they might want to apply to. That's done by looking at their interests, but also looking at the appropriateness of their applications. After students have completed year 12, they're in year 13, they'll actually get to the point of putting applications in, and that's where students are mainly using their time one-on-one with our careers and university guidance counsellors. There's no limit to the amount of time students can book with those counsellors, and they will help students in their time management, ensuring that we know exactly where their deadlines are so that nothing is missed. Again, they'll help making sure they've got appropriate and a broad range of applications planned, and then everything down to writing the applications, support with the students writing their essays and their statements, and then also support ensuring that students and their teachers are all in communication with each other, so we get the best quality references and recommendations written and everything ultimately submitted on time.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Will. It's nice to see some of the live questions coming in now through the function. Before, I'll just remind you how to do that. You can email support@standrews.ac.th and also put them in the Facebook comments if that's a bit easy for you as well. I'm going to start with one of those questions that's coming in from Miss Amy now. How can students get in touch with the school counsellors?
Thank you, it's a great question. We're incredibly proud at St Andrews that we have a fully staffed counselling centre. We have 3 full-time counsellors in the high school, and we like to feel it's an open door policy. So if a student is in need of help, they are able to access that in the counselling centre. They can walk in and they can connect with somebody there and then. We also have a time to talk anonymous email, so they're able to access that through their Moodle account. And also we promote through the tutors and the heads of year the ability to connect with counsellors. We also make sure that we do parent workshops and raise our profile with the parent community. So if you want to approach us that way through parent connections, we are there. We just hope that you're able to access our services as easily as possible.
Thank you, Ms. Amy. You actually just jumped in there with the next question, which was about parent workshops.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
Thank you for going into that. Miss Jen, one for you here. When do parents get to meet with teachers to discuss academic performance?
Okay, so we have, at the beginning of the year, we publish our schedule of reporting, and what we do at St Andrews is we have a continuous rotation system throughout the year of reports that go home to the parents. The students see them beforehand and write their own reflections, and then after that report is published to parents, we invite you all to make appointments with subject teachers throughout for a period of a week, Those are online at the moment. We've changed our systems a lot over the last 2 years. They seem to be working very well, but you're able to book a time with every single teacher that teaches your child and have a detailed conversation. It's really important to us that that conversation is yourself and your child and the teacher. We really do value that the students have are central to that conversation. They need to be part of that conversation in order to understand where they need to move forward and what progress they need to be making for the rest of the academic year. So we hold those, we send you reports in term 1, term 2 and term 3, and then there's 2 formal opportunities in the year for you to meet with the teacher that teaches your child. However, we also encourage, if there are any issues that arise throughout the year, that you contact the teachers directly or the form tutor who will become your son or daughter's most frequent contact throughout the time they're at the school. They will build a relationship with that form tutor, and they're usually a very good first contact if you have any concerns at all or any questions. But feel free to contact the school if you have any queries at all.
Thank you very much. This one is quite current, but hopefully reducing pretty soon. It's about remote learning. And go to you, Mr. Rue, on this one. What is the school currently doing in terms of remote learning for students?
Okay, so it's been great over the last few weeks, 3 weeks now, to have students back in school. And this week, we've had over 900 students in school every day this week, which is fantastic. We've still got some students who are not in school, either because their parents are still not quite sure that they're ready for that, or we have students overseas. I spoke to a student this morning in a lesson and she was in China, so that we still have those students. And what we're doing at the moment is a kind of hybrid learning. Obviously, most of the students are in the class, but it's very important that we still meet the needs of those students who are either in Bangkok somewhere or around the world. And we're doing this kind of hybrid learning at the moment, where we're always making sure that all the work is available and certainly trying to involve those students in Google Meets, which is what we've been doing for a long, long time with all of the students, but making sure we involve those students in Google Meets too. And we're obviously going to be carrying on that for a few more weeks, but we really hope, as Mr. Andrews said, we really hope that by the time we get to January, we've got all of the students back in school.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to answer this question. Let's go this one. So what learning opportunities do you offer outside? In a normal year, without COVID, this is much greater. Within school itself, outside of the classroom, we'll offer more than 250 different extracurricular activities, and they range from academic to the arts to sports to even service projects. But also in a normal year, we'll offer as many opportunities outside the school site as well. Each year group will hopefully go on a residential trip each year to test themselves in different environments. We'll also have their various trips for subjects, as well as service trips for those that are senior students as well. We're also very lucky to be connected with Nord Anglia Education, where they'll have their service trips to Tanzania once a year, as well as the snow sports trip, and also our connection with Juilliard and MIT opportunities there as well. So there's a huge range of different opportunities outside the classroom and outside of the school for our students to get connected with. Doesn't matter which kind of interest they have, there's something for everyone here at St Andrews. Next one, so this is a transition from primary school question. Miss Jen, how do you support the transition from primary school to high school?
Yeah, okay, so we have, obviously our primary school, we have a great relationship with them, and we try to make as many opportunities as possible throughout the academic year for our Year 6 students to come and experience the high school, and for our Year 7 students to go back down to the Year 6 to explain to them how they transitioned as well. Again, in a normal year, we have many more activities than we possibly had in the last year. But usually we have lots of events that happen in the high school. So the students will come from Year 6 up into the high school to do things like the Poetry Slam, where they will be part of a competition with our Year 7 and 8 students. We also usually have them in the high school for an entire week, where in the past we've done projects for the whole of Key Stage 3. So the Year 6 students join Year 7, 8 and 9, and they work in collaborative groups where they work on different projects which range from service projects, raising money for charities, or trying to solve a real-life problem, trying to create sustainable solutions for the school. And it's a great week where we see all the students coming together and working really closely. It allows the Year 6s to meet all of the high school teachers, and it allows all the students to get a really good understanding of where all the different departments are in the high school. So when they come in Year 7, they feel a lot more relaxed about the environment they're coming into. We also try to do a few guest speakers with some of our high school teachers going down to primary, and our Year 6 head of coordinator and our Year 7 coordinators work really closely together to make sure that we're understanding the students who are coming from Year 6 to Year 7. Our SEN department will also collaborate and work together so that we are fully aware of any of the educational needs of our Year 6 students as they transition into the high school. So we just try to do everything we can to make sure we understand the individual needs of every student, but also that they're as happy and relaxed about the environment they're coming into, and hopefully excited and looking forward to their adventures at high school.
Thank you. Mr. Rue, one for you here. How do you deal with any bullying situations that might happen in high school?
Yeah, I mean, first I'd say that obviously we hope that we have very little bullying. We have excellent relationships around the school, as I described earlier, with the different nationalities. I would say that when we do, there are times when the students do not get on with each other as well as we would want them to. We would always go back to a document that the students actually wrote 5 years ago called What Makes a Great St Andrews Community. We're not a school that has a big long list of rules and sanctions. We're a school where we want to help the students to be able to manage their own relationships with each other, and obviously there were sometimes they needed a bit of help with that. So one of the statements in that, What Makes a Great St Andrews Community, is I was empathic and always considered how the other person was feeling. So the conversation would be, when you did whatever you did, were you being empathic? Were you thinking about how the other person was feeling? And almost every time the student will admit that they weren't, and maybe they should have been, and that's just the learning experience. Obviously, if things go on a little bit longer, then we'll take it a little bit further. But like I say, we do really have happy in our mission statement. That doesn't mean we're all happy all the time, but it means that if someone's not happy, we'll take it very seriously. And I do think most of the time, most of our students are pretty happy.
Excellent, thank you very much. So I'm going to take this opportunity now to say thank you for joining us for this virtual open day here at high school. I'd also like to thank Mr. Rue Stenning,
thank you, everyone.
Miss Jen Harvey, Miss Amy Bonehill and Mr. Will Taylor for helping us. If you still have questions or you'd like to book a tour to come and see us here at high school, please contact us through our website or through our Facebook channels. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you soon.